That's it. You're facing okay.
Om 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantahu Punah Punah. So Ishavasya Upanishad, Ishavasya, Ishavasya Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. May you understand the whole Jagat as Ishvara. If you can't understand the Ishvara, then at least look upon the Jagat, take it for granted as Ishvara. That is called Upasana. That is called a prayer. Taking it for granted as Ishvara is different from recognizing that it is Ishvara. That means Ishvara, which is none other than your actuality. Ishvara does not mean power. It is not a column of power. It is a column of peace, to be, of being. Powers are the qualities of the creation, Prakriti. Powers, the might is the quality of the forms. When we say mighty king, it is not that the self is mighty. His body may be mighty, his thinking may be mighty, his sankalpa may be mighty, his will may be mighty. Consciousness cannot be either mighty or weak. They are all physical qualities. Might and weakness are physical qualities, whereas consciousness is peaceful. It is unlimited. The unlimited cannot have a might. If the unlimited has a might, is that might parallel to the unlimited? Or it is non-separate from the unlimited? That means it is unlimited only. It is not unlimited might. The might also can't exist parallel to the unlimited. And therefore, recognize the prapancha as Ishvara. Ishvara means your actuality. Because if Ishvara is the source of everything and it is other than me, how is my problem solved? My sense of limitation can be corrected only when I am not limited, I am not the form. My actuality should be other than the form. If my actuality is the form, then my problem is not solved. Therefore, the form is not my actuality. And therefore, Ishavasya Idam Sarvam Yatkinchi Jagatyam Jagat. Tena Tektena Bhunjitaha. It looks like a mandate as though. Mandate means renounce all the greed and understand yourself. In order to understand yourself, you have to have the vairagyam. Understanding is not something, it is done by, it's not something that is to be followed. Vedanta you don't follow. Vedanta you understand. Values you can follow. Karma you can follow. Duties you can follow. But Vedanta you recognize. And therefore, tena tiktena bhunjitaha magrita kasu siddhanam. This also we saw. In case you can't understand the Jagat to be Ishvara, then kurvan neveha karmani jiji vishet shradagam samaha. Then keep doing your duties for 100 years, and that is the only way you can be free from papa karma. Karmana bhajyate jantuhu. Karma binds man. In order to be free from that bondage, you can always do karma prayerfully. An action done prayerfully becomes a nitya karma. And as nitya karma is not the topic, Nitya Karma is the facilitator of understanding the topic. There are a lot of good things in life which are the facilitators of understanding. That is Vaidika Dharma. That is called Vaidika life. Vaidika lifestyle is something that prepares you to understand yourself. Doing duty prayerfully and following values, dharma, prayerfully, this is all preparatory of an individual to understand the truth ultimately. Then we says andhena tamasa vrutaha. This also we saw. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vrutaha. Tagamste pretyabgachinti eke atma hano janaha. Those who fail to understand the self, they are like committing suicide. Even though you have the intelligence, you don't use it for knowledge. And a person who doesn't use his intelligence for understanding the truth is like committing suicide. He has committed suicide. This also we have seen. And I also said something very important, and that is, man doesn't require so much of intelligence. You don't have to be mightily intelligent to serve for survival. For survival, you require only hunger and thirst. Man doesn't do much except appeasing his hunger, quenching his thirst, and sleeping and procreating, etc. Doesn't even it is said those who have not studied, they are like pashus. They just only look for food and look for water and procreate, etc., and sleep, etc. But I say even the educated cannot do anything other than these four. And therefore, you don't require great intelligence for these four. And therefore, intelligence must be used only for understanding the truth. It's of no use at all to use intelligence for these four things. And therefore, if a person doesn't use his intelligence for understanding the truth, he is like he has committed suicide. This is what I have said. And then anejadekam manaso javiya, it's nature. It is something still. It is, truth is something, it doesn't move. Why it doesn't move? Not because the truth uses its will not to move. That it's not that. It is unlimited. Like the fire doesn't use its will to be hot. It is its nature. The space doesn't use its will to be vast. In the same manner, truth doesn't use its will to be still. That is its nature. It is still because it is unlimited. To be unlimited is its nature. It is always, the nature can never be negated, please. The nature can never be negated. It is unlimited, the unlimitedness. Wherever you are, you may be in the waking state or the dream state or sleep state, you are by nature unlimited. And by dint of being unlimited, you are still. Therefore, the sense of mobility is due to equation with the form. All this we saw. And today we are going to see a new verse. And that new verse is, this is, I will first read it. Tadejati tannaijati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhakyataha. This is the next shloka. Today we have to see. Tadejati. It moves and it moves not. This verse tells very clearly that life, the entire life is adhyasa. Adhyasa is in contrast to our nature. And how do you correct the adhyasa? By understanding adhyasa as adhyasa. Till then, you only take it for granted as adhyasa. You hear it as adhyasa. When you understand the adhyasa as adhyasa, you understand also vastu as vastu. To begin with, when you understand the rope as rope, you also understand the snake as adhyasa. Till then, you may take it for granted. You may hear from the teacher, Apta Purusha, that it is mithya. You may take it for granted as mithya. But when you see when you understand the mithyatvam, it is gone. It is corrected. The sense of reality is gone. That is called correction. The correction of the sense of reality is called correction, please. Understand badha, what is badha. I don't define it as non-perception. It is what I see as a snake is rope. What I see as the deha is indeed non-separate from the atma. That is what I see as the universe is non-separate from the atma. Therefore, atma is the satyam and the jagat is mithya. Even if it is perceived, it is mithya. It can never try. That is its nature. Jagat's nature is mithya. Even when I take it to be satyam, it continues to be mithya. And the satyam's nature is satyam. And it continues to be satyam even if I don't recognize it as satyam. And therefore here tadejati means from the body point of view, it moves. I take myself to be the form, and therefore the form is mobile. Therefore I feel also I am mobile. This is what is called kartrutvam, the sense of mobility. The sense of, they call it as the sense of doership, the sense of actorship, the sense of mobility, that I move. And they even say, I move from the waking state, I move from one point of space to another point of space. I move. As the body moves, I am mobile. When the body is mobile, I am mobile. My eyes are mobile, I am mobile. My thought is mobile, I am mobile. In this manner, I look at myself as mobile. Mobility, I look at myself as karta. Kartrutvam is not our nature. If kartrutvam were our nature, the struggle can never end, please. First of all, we can't get sleep. Because in sleep also kartrutvam will be there. But in kartrutvam, there is no sense of doership. Therefore, sense of doership has resolved. Because it's not our nature. Our nature cannot resolve. The error about our nature can resolve in our nature. Yes, the wave can resolve in water. The water cannot resolve in wave. The wave can resolve in water. And the water also is adhyasa in the truth. And therefore, in the deep sleep state, that also, the thought of the water also resolves. And therefore, let us understand the sense of mobility. Kartrutvam cannot be our nature. Why kartrutvam cannot be our nature? Because kartrutvam, if it were our nature, it can never be corrected. Nature cannot be corrected. You can't really negate the nature. Thus, discerning between one's nature and one's pratyaya, adhyasa, is what is called atma anatma viveka. Discerning. Tadejati. So from the adhyasa drishti, tadejati. But from the swarupa drishti, tannaijati. This is called adhyaropa apuvada nyaya. From the adhyasa drishti, adhyaropa drishti, tadejati. And it is also ejati is avidya kalpitam. But both the statements as one state, tadejati, tannaijati, it becomes shastra prakriya. From adhyaropa drishtiya, tadejati. From adhisthana drishtiya, from the swarupa drishtiya, tannaijati. Na ejati. Tat na ejati. It doesn't move, it is still. By nature, it is unlimited and therefore it doesn't move. And from deha drishti, it moves. And one doesn't have to think, oh, it moves and it moves not. What a great truth it is. It moves also and it moves not also. They think contradiction glorifies a fact. No. It is not a contradiction. It is a teaching. It is a part of teaching. It's like, from my perception point of view, it looks snake. It looks a snake. It is perceived snake. From its own point of view, it is rope. From my perception point of view, there are waves I see in mirage water. I see the motion of the waves. But from the actuality point of view, it only remains the sand, still sand. Thus, Adhyaropa Drishti and Swarupa Drishti, both are there. Therefore, Tadejati means Adhyaropa Drishtya Tadejati and Swarupa Drishtya Tannaijati. This is what is called Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya. We don't have to even say, it is always defined, the Bhranti is, the Adhyasa is always defined as Atasmin Tad Buddhi. It is Buddhi Rupaha, Natu Rupa Rupaha. It is not Rupaha. It doesn't look so. The rope doesn't look snake. I always tell in my classes, it has no business to look snake. It has to look only the rope. Then what is snake? It is not that the look of the rope. It is the perception of the rope. I perceive it as snake. It is a pratyaya rupa. It is buddhi rupaha. It is buddhi rupa. I think so. It is not that the rope looks snake, but I see it as snake. Similarly, it is not that Atma looks the body, I see myself as the body. Looks cannot be corrected, perceptions can be corrected. Views can be corrected, looks cannot be corrected, please. I can only correct my views. I can only correct my thinking. I can only correct my perceptions. My views, my schools I can correct. But my thinking I can correct. But I can't correct the looks. The facts don't look other than themselves. I only see it as, or I don't see the actuality, I see it differently. It is only perception. It is perception. And sometimes we use the phrase, it looks so, it looks so. But there the understanding is, it is perceived so, it is perceived so. On deeper analysis, nothing looks differently. Everything can be perceived differently. Everything is perceived differently. And therefore, tadejati tannaijati. Taddure tadvantike. Dure means it's far. Duraha iva. It is not far, it's far. If you try to come across it, it is far. You can never. Varsha Shatakoti. Shatakoti Varshaipi. Shatakoti Varshaipi means even hundreds of crores you can never come across the truth. Even in thousands of janmas, you cannot come across the truth. Why? What is impossible is impossible. The wave can never come across water. It can never come across water. That it can never come across water is what is said tadure. It is not that, see, if it is spatially distant, you can always reach it. Here what is said is, it is impossible. You cannot. You can never come across the truth. You can never come across Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the truth, please. The truth of everything is called Bhagavan. We call it theologically, it is called Bhagavan. Theologically, it is called God. But otherwise, it is Satyam, it is the truth. God is the truth. The truth means the truth of everything that I perceive, the truth of myself. The truth about myself is the truth of the whole universe. That is the truth. And therefore, the Vedanta says the truth thou art, it says, Tatu Tvamasi. And therefore, one doesn't have to, Tatu Dure. If you think wrongly, it is Duram. It is impossible to come across it. If you try to objectify it, it's not possible. What is subject can never be objectified, can never be objectified. Not that it takes many years, it's difficult. No, it is impossible. A square circle is impossible, Ji. You can never make draw a square circle. It is impossible. It is impossible. Similarly, A square circle is impossible. And if you do a wrong action and to get the right result is impossible. It may you may think it is so, but it's not so. One day or the other, you are going to get only wrong result. The law of karma never goes waste. Therefore, a square circle is impossible. Karma phala, a contrary result for your karma is also impossible. And Atma being objectifiable is also impossible. It is impossible to objectify the self. And that impossibility is conveyed by the word tadure. And then, if you think correctly, tadvantike, it is very intimate. Tatu plus u plus antike. That indeed is, that indeed is, that indeed is very intimate. Intimate means it's not within you. That is another school of thought. It is not in you, it is you. There is a big difference. People get scared. How can I be that? Maybe. And if I say it is within you, then they feel comfortable. That is all because man is not interested in looking at himself. Truth is not in you, the truth is you. Consciousness is not in you, consciousness is you. If I say in you, it becomes another school of thought. It is you. The heat is not in fire. Even if you say it is in fire, that is its nature. That is fire. Fire is hot. Fire is heat. Therefore, wave is not, the water is not in the wave. The wave is water. The wave is water. There is wave is water. And therefore, tadure tadvantike. It is intimate. If it is not, if it is reflected wrongly, it is far away. It is impossible to come across. If it is rightly reflected, if it is understood correctly with the help of the pramanam, it is very intimate. Shastra has traditionally it is always said the subtle is always comprehensive of the physical. The subtle and the physical cannot be, according to Vedanta, they are not parallel to each other. Very beautiful, Ji. The space is the subtlest. It is comprehensive of the air. Air is comprehensive of the fire. Fire is comprehensive of the water. Water is comprehensive of the earth element. And it has to be understood in terms of the objectifiability. Space is objectifiable by only one sense organ, the hearing, and therefore it is considered to be the subtlest. Air can be objectified by the sense of touch and the sense of sound. And therefore it is little gross, and therefore it is comprehensive of the air. But the subtle and the gross and the fire is objectifiable by three senses. Water is objectifiable by four senses. And Prithvi is objectifiable by five senses. And therefore it is the grossest. The subtle and the gross, as per Vedanta, they are not parallel, they are not separate. The subtle is comprehensive of everything. The subtle is comprehensive of this gross. And the Atma being the subtlest, it is comprehensive of everything. As comprehensive of everything, it is intimate. And therefore, there is nothing parallel to Atma. If something is parallel to Atma, then the Atma would be limited. And that what is parallel to Atma also would be limited. Therefore, don't think in terms of parallel. Jiva and Jagat are not parallel. Jiva and Jagat are both perceptions of the same truth. I look at myself as limited, and another perception is there. I stand related to. Equation with the form is. Equation of the truth with the form is an error. And relationship of the truth as the form with the universe is also an error. Therefore, both of them are non-separate from the truth. Therefore, they are not parallel. Neither Jiva is parallel to Brahma, nor Jagat is parallel to Brahma. Like the waves are not parallel to water, nor the bubbles are parallel to water. There is no parallelness. Tadantarasya sarvasya. It is within everything. It's a very beautiful line, Ji. It has to be understood correctly. It is the within of everything. Tadantarasya sarvasya. It is the within of everything. It is the source of all the five elements. It is the source of all the five elements. That is called antarasya. Tadantarasya sarvasya. Tadu sarvasyasya bhakyataha means what? It is something that is outside everything. It is within, it is the within of everything, and it is outside everything. It is within everything means it is the source of everything. It is outside everything means it is not qualified by anything. It's not qualified. This is what really the Vedanta Vidyarthis have to understand. We take it for granted that it is everything. But you can't take it for granted really. That everything, it is not qualified by anything. It is a matter for understanding. The source is, like the water is the source of the wave, but it's not qualified by the wave. It's not, waterness doesn't have the waveness in it as an adjective. Between water and wave, there is no noun adjective relationship. Between the water and the wave, there is only satyamithya bhava, not water, not noun adjective relationship. In fact, there is oneness. Satyamithya bhava means they are not two things. Satyam and mithya are not parallel to each other. It is oneness. The mithya is one with the satyam, and that makes it the ekatvam of satyam. Satyam alone is there. Satyameva jayate. One meaning is satyam alone triumphs. That is empirical meaning. Satyameva jayate means satyam alone is. Truth alone is. That is Shastrartha. Satyameva jayate. The empirical meaning is, the societal meaning is, social meaning is, truth alone triumphs. So that is okay, Ji. That's true. But then, because the truth alone is, because truth, satyameva jayate means truth alone is. Sadeva saumya idamagra asit and asti and bhavishyati. Sat alone, everything is sat alone is. And therefore, tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya asya bhakyataha. It's not qualified by anything. It is inside everything, and it is, and nothing taints it also. Like you see, Bhagavan says, Matsthani sarvabhutani. Everything is within me. And then he also said, Nacha matsthani sarvabhutani. And they don't become my adjectives. Everything is in me, but it's not my adjective. This is what Vedanta Vidyarthis have to reflect. This is the main point. Yatra yad adhyasaha tat kritena gunena doshena va anumatrena pisana sambadhyate. Everything is in me as adhyasa. Nothing is in me as an adjective, as a viseshana. Therefore, Atma is not Visishta. It is Nirvisesha, Nirvisishta. It is, silence is not Visishta. Silence is accommodative of the sound, but the sound does not become an adjective of silence. Sound is not an adjective of silence, please. Between silence and sound, there is only Satyamithya Bhava. Silence is not objectifiable. Silence is one's own existence. The silentness of one's being is silence. Therefore, silence is not something, it's not a part of creation, please. Silence is not a part of creation. Silence is. When you close your eyes and silence the thoughts, you are silent. And what about the thought? Thought is born in that silence. Thought appears in that silence, in your own being. Thought is thought is seen in your own being, in the silence. No noise appears outside. It's not parallel to silence. It is born in silence, heard in silence, and it disappears in silence. Therefore, the whole creation is only sound. It is only a sound. It is only a disturbance in silence. And silence is the nature of the source. Silence is absolute silence. Absolute silence. Silence is always absolute. Consciousness is by nature absolute. Nirvisheshatvam is its nature. Absoluteness is not something. The body is a perception, whereas consciousness is nirvishesham. That is its nature. The body's nature is to change. It is unlike consciousness. It changes and it has a laya and it can be disproved also. See, the body can be, it changes, the body changes and the body can have laya. Laya means it can become, it can cease to appear in sushupti, and in knowledge it can get disproved. That there is sashariratvam is disproved. That I have a form can be disproved. Yes, disproval is nothing but not saying that it's not there. It is not something parallel to consciousness. That is called disproval. Dream is disproved. It's not. When a person wakes up, it is not there he thinks. Say it is disproved only in knowledge. That is, the dream that I saw was not parallel to my existence. It is one with my nature. That is disproval. That is called badha. When a person wakes up from the dream, it is a laya. It has a laya. He doesn't understand. He just goes on waking up, dreaming, sleeping, waking up, dreaming, sleeping. And then when he wakes up, he thinks of the objects. He is a bhogi ji. Jiva is a bhogi because without bhoga, he thinks he cannot be happy. And therefore, bhoga is different from vichara. That is why tapas facilitates vichara. Self-control facilitates vichara. Dharma facilitates vichara. Karma yoga facilitates vichara. All the facilitators are the lifestyle of Vedikas. Vedic lifestyle. Nowadays, people are not introduced to Vedanta, and therefore they are generally greedy. That's swabhavikam, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamatsharyam. All these things. But the Vedic lifestyles prepares the individual. He is supposed to prepare the individual to become qualified for understanding the truth. That is called Vedic culture. It is not just a given lifestyle. It is a lifestyle that prepares you to understand the truth. It is a life of dharma, a life of self-control, a life of maryada, a life of education, a life of prayer, a life of meditation, a life of shravanam, a life of mananam, a life of vichara, pramana purvaka vichara. This is all a life of shraddha. This is all called really the Vedic lifestyle. It is not one of the lifestyles. Pakistanis have what? One lifestyle, and Americans have got another lifestyle, and Canadians have another lifestyle, and India also has another lifestyle. It's not like that. Don't define Vedic life as just one of the lifestyles. It is a lifestyle that prepares you to know the truth. Yes, to know the truth. It is a lifestyle that prepares you to know the truth. There is a difference between a Vedic lifestyle and other lifestyles. Other lifestyles are just enjoying. Bhoga. It is only bhoga. Another various kinds of bhoga. Americans have bhoga. They enjoy and they suffer also. They enjoy and they bhoga. Other Canadians have a different bhoga. Every lifestyle is a bhoga. But Vedic lifestyle is preparing oneself, the kind of things, the steps That is why, sarve veda yat padamamananti, tapagamsi sarvamsi chayat vadanti, yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti, tatte paragam, sangrahena bravemi vomityetatiti. All these things are facilitators. They are all kinds of penances. Any kind of self, any kind of any good deed is done prayerfully, preparing oneself for understanding the truth. And in every prayer, you always say, God, inspire me to know the truth. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. You see, the very daily prayer itself says, please guide my thinking towards the truth. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Therefore, Vedic lifestyle is not one of the lifestyles. Vedic lifestyle is a lifestyle that prepares you to know the truth. And therefore here tadejati, it moves, tad naijati, it moves not. From the adhyaropadrishti, it moves. As the body, it moves. As itself, it doesn't move. If it is objectified, it is impossible to come across tadvantike. And if it is understood to be yourself, it is most intimate. There is nothing more intimate than yourself to you. There is nothing more intimate to you than your own existence. Your existence is the topic, not your form is the topic. Not your presence is the topic. You are the topic, please. I again and again say, you are the topic. Don't think Shastra is the topic. Shastra is a pramanam. It is a pramana bhutam. But the Vishaya is yourself. Make your existence the topic. Make your fullness the topic. You are the topic. You are the goal to reach yourself. You have to recognize your actuality. I always use the word actuality. Actuality means your swarupa. It is an ununderstood actuality. Wave has an actuality, being water. It always thinks that I am a wave, let us say. It's a wave. And it's as a wave, it gets scared. Oh my God, I may disappear. As a form is riddled with problems. Form has changes. And with every change, as a form, it is limited. Therefore, when I equate myself with the form, I feel I am limited. I feel I am insecure. But as myself, as my nature, I am free from all that. That is why tadure tadvantike, tadantarasya sarvasya. It is the source of everything. It is the truth of everything. And yet it is not qualified by anything. It is not qualified by anything. This is what we have to understand. Even though it is said that it looks so, Atma looks Deha, but in my view, it never looks Deha, it is perceived Deha. It is a pratiti. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Atasmin tad buddhihi. It is buddhi rupaha. It is not rupa rupaha. It doesn't appear as Deha. It is viewed. And you cannot correct. Supposing if I think that the sky looks blue, that thinking can be corrected. My view that it is real can be corrected. But its looking blue cannot be corrected. Looks can never be corrected. Only thoughts can be corrected. The views can be corrected. Perceptions can be corrected. Ye baat bhi Vedanta Vidyarthis must always understand. And when a person does meditation also, meditation is also like a karma yoga. It is done. Whatever you do is a sadhana ji. Whatever you are in actuality, that is the topic. Whatever you do by using your will, karma yoga is done. Prayer is done. And values are done. Anything that is done is a sadhanam. And man always loves doing because he thinks himself as a doer. And without doing, he feels bored because he doesn't see himself as the being that is ever present peacefully. Therefore, sashariratvam is when a person says any thinking is done, When any thinking is done, and the topic is what he is, what you are, that is your nature. Like silence is the topic, the sound is done. The sound is done. Silence is. You can't create silence. But when the sound comes, we think the silence is gone. That is wrong. The sound comes in silence. The sound resolves in silence. When the sound comes, only sound comes, not silence goes. The silence comes in the sound comes in the silence. The sound also disappears in silence. It can never replace silence. Sound can never replace silence. Similarly, the views cannot replace the truth. The views can be corrected. And correcting my own views about myself is called Vedanta ji. Vedanta is not something. When you do meditation also, meditation is done. You use your will to be quiet. That is meditation. But there is nothing wrong in it. Restlessness can be controlled by being quiet. That is, meditation is useful. But meditation also is a sadhanam. It is a facilitator. But discerning is the topic. Discerning between Atma and Anatma is the topic. Discerning between your existence and the rest of the universe is the topic. Understanding yourself is the topic. All this we will continue, Ji. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll continue the next verse later. Aram se. I have to also manage. Yeah.